and welcome back once again to some more Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Today we're continuing our Let's Play. This is episode 24. In today's episode we are taking a look at the Vice City Street Racer. This is available once you buy out the Sunshine Autos car showroom. You'll get access to this Corona underneath, just where the import-export garage is, and then you'll have the option to go ahead and do street races in the map of Vice City. Interestingly enough, there are 6 races overall. Each of them have obviously different amounts that you win for completing the race overall. However, they also have buy-ins. So for example, on this first race you have to pay $100 in order to show up to the actual race. I believe it's a quarter of what each race pays out, although I could be wrong on that, as it's like a racer's fund. Anyways, once you trigger which race you want, you have to get a fast car and then show up to the starting line, and then you'll see 3 other racers and then challenge them. You pull into the Corona to start the race, or you can do what I do, which I find is the easiest way to do it, and simply get some momentum going and then just pull a drive-by on the cars next to you. It's just the easiest way to do it, I find, because then you can start the race with some momentum while they're standing still. Although that shouldn't be too much of an issue. Vice City's AI is not really set up for street racing at all. They're quite awful at it and are quite cakewalky. They'll often crash into each other. Don't get me wrong, they can crash into you and ruin your race, but it shouldn't be too bad. Overall, this first race just focuses on going in and around the airport. As long as you don't take any of the corners too fast to fall to your grave in that sort of second story bit there, you should be pretty alright. This race takes less than a minute, or at least it does in the Hot Ring Racer, which I'm going to be using for the entire duration of this episode, because that's kind of what it's built for, racing. And also I got it from doing all of the export missions. Essentially each of them gives you a reward, as we saw in the last episode, and the final reward is the Hot Ring Racer. The next race is called Ocean Drive. You can smash into them as well to start the race, but I don't recommend that, and I think that was more by accident. Anyways, yeah, Ocean Drive. This one is a little bit more tricky, I guess. I find there's slightly more traffic spawns towards this area of the map, which sounds weird. You think the airport would be more full of traffic, but no, I find this is. Although if you just drive down the middle, you can avoid a lot of them. To dispel some rumours, you cannot use a bike for these, as far as I'm aware, and even still I wouldn't want to use the bike because it seems, well, like that. It's a little bit too high risk for me, and you know, there's plenty of cars. In terms of what I'd recommend car-wise, I mean, I'm obviously using the Hot Ring Racer here for the sake of consistency. Out of every car in the game, I guess I'd recommend the Stinger. While it's not the quickest car in terms of overall straight line speed, I think it's the best handling car in the game. Other than that, the Infernus, which of course you can just get at the SETI estate, pretty straightforward, is great. And again, you know, Hot Ring Racer, the Deluxo, I'm not too sure what that's like performance-wise, but I can't imagine that'd be too bad. Sabre Turbo might be a bit slow. But yeah, sort of Hot Ring Racer, Infernus, Stinger, they're some really good choices. There's plenty of sports cars driving around. Your opponents consist of a Cheetah, a Banshee, and an Infernus. Again, Infernus, you'll be matching that car speed-wise, and with the way the AI are, you can hear them crashing a little bit in the background. Yeah, they're not the most competent of souls, so these aren't particularly difficult. They're not particularly long either. The buyout fee is not particularly insane. At this point in the game you should have a decent amount of money to sustain yourself, and you shouldn't really be failing these races over and over again, I guess. If you are desperate, there is of course a save point at the car showroom, so you can save before you start a race, and then if you happen to, for whatever reason, lose that race, you can just reload that checkpoint in order to keep your money. But I wouldn't see that as necessary personally. They do pay out quite well, these races, actually. In terms of, you know, little time for a lot of effort, little time for not much effort, these races can be quite good. One thing I should point out quickly, just to avoid any confusion, while you do need to buy out the Sunshine Autos car showroom, you do not actually, this does not count towards the asset completion whatsoever. You don't make any more money from the asset by completing this. This is a completely separate side mission. It's not required for any of the asset building in the game. It's only required for 100% completion. Of course, this being a 100% completion playthrough, that's what we're going to go for. Capsule Cruise, another race on the West Island. I'm trying to catch... The names aren't really important, you can see what's going on screen. This one I actually remembered I had a bit more struggle trying to start this one. In the end I just... Yeah, not the smartest. I think this was the race I struggled with most. Which is probably justly so, considering I managed to spin out that Infernus. Yeah, if they do get in your way, you can sort of tap turn. That's one good thing about the Hot Ring Racer as well that I kind of like about it. Not only is it quick and pretty decent handling, it's also got a fair amount of mass to it because, of course, it is a stock car racer. So you can push things out the way should you need to. Car durability, I mean, ideally you shouldn't be crashing your car, but I guess that's another thing I could recommend the Hot Ring Racer for, is if you are worried about damaging the car too much. In the case of an Infernus or a Stinger, they're not exactly the most durable of vehicles. The Hot Ring Racer is pretty durable. It's a pretty well-rounded car, actually. There's not really much more I can recommend in this, but of course, if you aren't interested in doing all of the car showroom lists, which, I'll be honest with you, I can't blame you. Yeah, you can see the issue with traffic there. Yeah, this one shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, you can really see I did struggle a bit in this race. This one, it's a lot tighter of a route in terms of traffic. You're essentially either driving on the sidewalk, which is a bit of an issue because there's light poles and fire hydrants and stuff in the way, or you're just sort of ducking and weaving in between traffic. Don't get me wrong, the AI can be held up in that, but another thing to bear in mind as well is, because of course this is an early PlayStation 2 game, the traffic won't spawn for them behind you, at least I don't think it would. So they can't really get caught up on traffic that isn't spawning. So if you're getting really tangled in traffic and getting into crashes and stuff, then yeah, it can cause some issues. Sorry, police officer. Okay, it's not this race, it's the next race I struggled with, which ironically enough starts at pretty much the same place. Anyways, $8,000. Again, pretty easy money for nothing. Tour is the next race, and yeah, this one starts in exactly the same place that last race started, but it is going the other way around. That's probably the best start I managed to get on all of these sort of running drive-by. I should have known it was going to stab me in the arse in the end. But like I said, they're really not very difficult races. Another cop. Why do they manage to crush loads of police? I guess they just don't look both ways before crossing the road. I mean, quite frankly, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I just have to go on a little tangent here. If you're stupid enough to run over the road after a criminal and not look both ways, what are you doing? This is Vice City, man. There could be a NASCAR just running towards you. Can you not hear that shit? These things are pretty loud. Anyways, off topic. Street races aren't too difficult. This one's not too bad. I guess it's pretty wide open until we get towards the construction site when it's not so wide open. Again, it's just a case of trying to get lucky with traffic. I guess one recommendation could be to do them later at night. Oh, this is why this one bugged me. Yeah, the checkpoints, they really want you to drive through the middle of them. Bear that in mind. Anyways, you're about to see how great the AI are. Yep. Anyways. Yeah, do be aware of the checkpoints. I also encountered this a bit on Checkpoint Charlie. I didn't mention it in Checkpoint Charlie because it never actually showed up in the video, but yeah, checkpoints in this game are pretty darn cruel. So drive through the middle of them to get the best results, I guess. Try not to go around the outskirts. They seem to like move in for like they're actually 2D objects that are sort of changing direction to where the player is. I guess it's a little bit delayed when it does that occasionally. Very strange, but yeah. No, they're not difficult races. I guess you have to travel slightly. Just don't be an idiot. Just don't do that, really, and you'll be alright. Don't crash into stuff. Don't fuck around with the races too much. I think you can actually blow their cars up and kill them and win the race by having no competition whatsoever in this game. I think that's a viable tactic. If you want to do that, you shouldn't feel the need to do that, but that is something you can do. Unlike in San Andreas, where the game would disqualify you. I don't believe this game disqualifies you for killing your opponents, so I guess that's something to always bear in mind. Question mark. You can see this checkpoint didn't register and the AI car's literally there. Although thankfully the AI car is a moron and can't capitalise on that. $20,000. Yeah. You know, these the funny thing with these as well, VC Endurance, the final race, 10,000 to buy into this one, and you get 40,000 back from it. This race, even though it's the longest, I believe this one is under 6 minutes, or it's like 6 minutes 43. I might be remembering that wrong. I don't know. But either way, it's not particularly hard. You know, even this one, they're not particularly long races considering the amount of money you get for them. So, I mean, realistically, you can easily make your money back from buying the car showroom just by doing these street racing missions. Which is something to bear in mind, you know, there's a pretty... This game, I find, is a lot about return on investment, another fucking checkpoint issue. What the fuck was that? I'm sorry, what was that? I forgot about that. Just AI just diving into my wheels. Okay, cool. Yeah, no. As I was saying, you can make your money back from a lot of the assets in this game, like, very easily without even picking up those little revenue things. And I mean, hell, I mean, Sunshine Autos, you can make $9 grand every week by delivering all the cars. You get $300 every time you deliver the cars and a little bit of a cash bonus. I never really paid attention to how much cash bonus you was getting, but you do get a little bit of cash for getting all of the list complete as well. And on this, I mean, you're making, you know, $20,000 from that last race. Don't get me wrong, there's buyout fees and stuff, but you easily are making your money back on these street races alone. So, Sunshine Auto's a pretty good asset to buy into, realistically, when you think about it. As is Boatyard if you decide to go through all 6 missions, which of course I didn't, but you can do, and that actually becomes a pretty lucrative asset in the end. Yeah, there's a lot of these ones. The ones that aren't actual proper missions, the ones that are just assets, that only have side missions to go along with them, or passive missions, I guess I could call them. I don't know why I've only just thought of that on the final time we ever have to look at an asset mission, which was of course Sunshine Autos. Forgot to mention that in that episode, but there you go. I guess I'll mention that when we get to the actual asset missions a bit later on. But yeah, no. The passive assets do offer a lot more money, realistically, although they do take a little bit more thought process, so there's something to bear in mind right there. Anyways, I've been drinking for a lot, and there's, you know what's going on right now. I'm going to take a drink quickly. Shout out to the Moving Chicane who called my post-commentary on this insightful and very well done. As you can tell by just what happened there, he might be slightly wrong on that one, but I mean, there's only, I'm not going to speed the footage up because I want to show what the actual races are, but there's, you know, this one's long. It's the entire Vice City map. Thankfully, Vice City isn't that big of a map, so it's not too difficult. So, yeah, there you go. I get you have to sit through these loading screens. I guess that adds a little bit more inconvenience and time to these, and also whatever the fuck the AI is doing there with their cars. But again, it's pretty straightforward. There's no real issues when it comes to this Vice City Endurance Racer. I actually find the vehicle missions harder than the street races themselves, which is kind of ironic when you consider the vehicle missions are basically you versus a time limit, whereas this is you versus actual like AI opponents. But again, the AI are pretty useless. I mean, it wouldn't be too unfair to say I'm not even driving particularly well in either of these. I mean, I've missed countless checkpoints, and the AI can't keep up or do anything about it, really. And even when they do, I see them for 5 seconds, and then they crash into a wall, and that pretty much ends their run, so... You know, these aren't too difficult. Not as difficult as they are in San Andreas. San Andreas has some difficult street races because that game actually sort of gives you a predetermined car. But in this game, when you can show up with pretty much whatever you want, there's no underdog story here. I mean, I guess for extra challenge, you could do this in a Mignana. But someone's got to be like that in the comments, aren't they? They're going to be like, dude, you should have done all these street races in a perennial if they're so easy. Like, no, I'm going to do them as fast as possible. I'm not, you know... If the game gives me the option to use a nuclear weapon, I'm going to use a nuclear weapon to beat the thing. Jesus Christ, this is way less than 6 minutes. I thought this was like 6:41. Boy, am I wrong. This one's like underneath 4.5 minutes and 40 grand. That's pretty good, you know, 4.5 minutes for $40,000 or 30,000 when you don't consider buy-in fees. Anyways, that's it for Vice City Street Racer. Just proving that I've done all of them. There you go, 6 races. 6 races done, and that's Vice City Street Racer done. Thank you all very much for watching. Next time we are going to be taking a look at the Firefighter side mission, so join us for that. Until then, farewell.